The Young Lords Party was a revolutionary Puerto Rican nationalist group based primarily in New York City and founded in 1969. It's easy to remember the Young Lords as just another one of the many radical groups in the late 60s and early 70s dedicated to fighting capitalism and racism. But unlike most of these groups, the Young Lords also deliberately fought sexism and homophobia. And from the records of their activism, it becomes clear that the Young Lords had a nuanced understanding of the interconnected systems of oppression and tried to create an organization that reflected this understanding. We see this when we focus on two party members. First, Denise Oliver, the first woman on the Central Committee, and second, Pablo Yoruba Guzman, the Minister of Information. Oliver recognized how powerful sexism was in society. She wrote in Palante, the Young Lords publication, "When you look to any group to find out who's the most oppressed, it's always going to be the women." And because of sexism's strong presence in society, it inevitably had a presence in the Young Lords. She wrote, "There is still male chauvinism in the party. It's a difficult struggle for a man to liberate himself after 23 or 24 or 25 years of being a macho. But it wasn't just men who were the problem." Oliver wrote that in addition to men being unaccustomed to gender equality, many women had been similarly convinced of their sole role as helpers to men. Having recognized sexism, Oliver applied her anti-capitalist beliefs to better understand conventional family structure. She rejected marriage, seeing it as a slave contract. She also questioned the benefits of the nuclear family. She wrote, "I don't see where there are any great advantages to the nuclear family at this point. Actually, the concept of two individuals living together off somewhere is selfish and non-socialist." The Young Lords also brought homophobia into their understanding of oppression. Pablo Yoruba Guzman described in Palante how homophobia was an even more powerful force than sexism. He wrote, "We found out it's a lot quicker for people to accept the fact that sisters should be in front of the struggle than saying that we're going to have gay people in the party." Oliver and Guzman didn't just write about the interconnectedness of oppression in Palante. They actually put these ideas into practice within the party. Soon after the Young Lords in New York was created, women members formed a women's caucus. Oliver, having seen the submissive role women played in the Black Panthers, soon took further action to change the party. By relying on direct action, including a sex strike, women in the Young Lords succeeded. Soon women were appointed to positions of power, and the Young Lords' 13 Points program was changed from demanding that machismo be revolutionary to rejecting machismo altogether. Most other radical groups at the time lacked similar reforms. Early in the party's history, members of the Gay Liberation Front recognized openness in the Young Lords, and some members of the Gay Liberation Front became Young Lords or developed ties to both organizations. After some party members formed a women's caucus, a few women formed a gay caucus as well. Despite these successes, most of the Young Lords remained hostile or apathetic to gay activism. Some members openly derided homosexuality, and most of the ones who didn't kept silent. But if we consider how pernicious homophobia was in the US around 1970, we can appreciate how it's significant that the Young Lords considered homophobia at all. The Young Lords also made some effort to form alliances with other activist groups. For instance, the Young Lords also attended the Revolutionary People's Constitutional Convention in 1970, which was intended to encourage activist groups to look beyond their own specific oppression. In 1970, Iris Morales, another party leader, participated in the Housing Crimes Trial, a public event that brought young militants together with older activists to respond to New York City's housing crisis. These efforts to form alliances with other activist groups, while limited, also reinforced their multifaceted understanding of oppression.
Exactly how we're going to respond to the killings of our people. We're not going to sit by and allow more Julios, right, and allow more Carmen Rodriguez abortion deaths. We have to begin to stand up as the people, the Puerto Rican people.
The Young Lords believed that to really liberate a community, defeating poverty, racism, sexism, or homophobia was not enough. True liberation required defeating all forms of oppression. The battles the Young Lords fought 40 years ago are still being fought today. Perhaps those who have taken up the Young Lords' battles need to consider this view of oppression, and not just because it sounds good. Rather, this view has great potential for broad alliances and widespread liberation, and may be critical to their success.
There's been trouble, and there's going to be more trouble, and we're going to continue to have more trouble. You see, people are learning to struggle together, people are learning to fight together. And I don't think that's trouble, I think that's self-defense, I think we're defending ourselves, I think the trouble has already come whenever...